Okay, so by now I've done a few videos on behavioral extinction burst, or an extinction burst when we're talking about changing behavior. So I want to talk a little bit about what an extinction burst is. So an extinction burst is a phase during behavioral change when the behavior actually gets worse instead of better. This typically follows what's called a honeymoon stage. So you have a behavior, you implement an intervention or a correction or something that you're doing to change the behavior, and then there's a honeymoon phase. Things get better, the behavior decreases. Then things seem to be getting worse. And this is often when I hear from a lot of parents or a lot of my clients around how the implementation or the intervention that we have discussed is no longer working and they want to do something different. But this is actually when it is most critical to remain consistent implementing the intervention discussed, because things are getting worse because the conditioning that the person, the child, the student has experienced through either negative or positive reinforcement with that behavior is so strong that after they initially do what is asked, their inkling is to then almost rebel, if you will. Their brain wants to oppose that because it wants to seek homeostasis. It wants to remain the same. It doesn't want to change necessarily. And so it's not even necessarily that your child is challenging you or the person is challenging you. Their brain is challenging them to say, whoa, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I thought complying would get me what I wanted, but what I'm seeing is I'm not getting what I want, which is to remain the same and to do the same behavior and get the same outcome. So if this is your child or a student, it's really important to love them through the process and to be understanding. I know that ABA gets a lot of flack, and in all honesty, I'm not a huge fan of ABA as a science, but I really do, or as a standalone application, but I do believe in some of the interventions, but you have to apply it with some common understanding, love, gentle parenting, and you have to really validate that child's experience. So this is just your PSA to know that when you're implementing something different to correct behavior, not only every time when you are correcting, you also have to implement connection. So you have to correct and connect, or connect and then correct. So that's really important to know as well. But also you have to know that when you're doing something different, you're going to experience an extinction burst. This is with training a dog, it is with raising children, it is with students, it is with changing anything in your behavior or others' behaviors. People are naturally going to default to the behavior that worked for them before because they don't want to necessarily grow and try something different, because that's a lot of work. So the key is just to remain consistent and also consistently connect with this person to let them know that you care as well.